What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another profile here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name is Tam, and today I'm going to be showing you my Seong deck profile that I played for the Symbol Showdown Campus Championship. If you like this deck, make sure you check out all the matches that Seong got to play. This was a very fun deck. This is very similar to a deck that Tyler Clark played for Worlds, and yeah, let's just jump into it. All right, so if you've never seen one of the deck profiles that we do here on the channel, as opposed to just reading off the cards verbatim, what I do instead is I want to take and give you more of an elevator pitch of how the deck wants to work. So the elevator pitch for this Seong deck is I want to play just a bunch of really good value cards. I just want to play good valued cards and punish you for making any sort of interactions with me. Given the 3 speed, giving stun 3, picking the card back up if it's blocked, all means that I don't want you to interact with me. And then the build in an asset just means I get to play a free thing every turn. I just get to, if my game plan is working, the build is just a little win more. I think Seong is very, very good. I think she's very solid. I'm not positive this is exactly the build that I'd want. I think it's a little more refined, a little more fine tuning. Yeah, I very much enjoy this deck. So let's just jump into it. So normally with a deck like this, I'd want to start with the assets just because of it being such an important part of the first form, but it's actually not the point of the deck at all. I want to just kill you with what I call $500 hands. So we're playing 4 missile launcher. It's just ultra value on the card. Tossing out a missile launcher. Seong gives it 3 speed. It gives it and stun 2. Stun 3. So stun 3, stun 2. Discard the top 4 for more damage. So it's a 6 low for 10. That if they do happen to block, you just pick it back up and then play it back again. This is a guaranteed 10 damage attack inside of your deck. There's no way that they're not going to. There's no way they're going to be able to block this once, if not twice. And it is really, really easy to make sure my first form goes off. Very important inside of the all deck. Up next, we're playing 4 Meteor Style. This card just is bread and butter with this deck, either building in an asset or building in a foundation to use its effect. Really, really cool stuff. It's got powerful on it. Giving it 3 speed and stun 3 is also very strong. And importantly, it has breaker 2, which is super, super important. Up next, we're playing 4 Nutcracker. Once again, really good value card. It's in here mainly for the breaker block, actually. But once again, giving this thing 3 speed with Nutcracker giving it probably 4 damage, with other cards giving it extra damage. Normally it's like a 7 low for 10 without really trying. And once again, if they interact with this card at all because of Song, we just get to pick it back up and then play it again, or play something else and then have a 2 mid-block breaker block. Up next, we're playing 4 Spirit Shotgun. It certainly can be easy to accidentally kill people with this card, especially because of Nutcracker sharing 2 symbols, Meteor Style sharing 3 symbols. It's just easy to accidentally kill people. The big thing with this, though, is if you do decide to Mina enhance on the shotgun, give it the 3 speed, 3 damage, and they do block it, and you pull it back up to your hand, it does not do the damage off the half block. So keep that in mind. The attack is aborted before the damage step. So realize that maybe you're playing it late on the chain. Maybe don't Mina on that one. And then the last attack in the deck is actually just a utility attack. We're just playing 4 Keiko Slap. If you notice, all of these, all my big cards are all 5 diffs. The Nutcracker, not necessarily, but all of these are 5 diffs, and I want to be able to play big strings, especially Shotgun. I think any life good deck should be playing Keiko Slap into Shotgun. It's just actually a little too free. As well as, this card is insane on my opponent's turn. It says that my next attack gets -2 difficulty. If it hits, their next attack gets +3 difficulty. And then with Mina, you give it 3 speed, stun 3, so you stun them on their turn. And if they block it, you just add this reversal back up to your hand, and then you can play it again. So they're not allowed to half block it because it will be, they can half block it all they want. I just said the exact same thing with Shotgun. Ignore that. If they block it, you get to pick it up and play another reversal on them again, especially because this card doesn't count towards progressive. So just a really, really strong option when it comes to on my opponent's turn. Like I said, I just want to value as much as I can. On to the assets. We're playing a couple of assets that are on-symboled, a couple of assets that are off-symbol just because of the nature of how Seong works, as well as a Meteor Style being able to build in whatever assets we want. And the main asset we're wanting to play is Double White House. I decided not to play actions just because of Mina being able to build something in every turn, as well as some of our other cards being able to build things in every turn. There's plenty of our foundations or assets or whatever that just want to pop things in, and so the extra draw off of White House is really good, as well as I want to make sure my opponent doesn't negate my stuff. So saying that my revokes are essentially 4 difficulty actions is very good. Your Templars are not very good. Your Punch and Judies actually have some sort of real cost. This is a very, very solid asset when it comes to playing under the good symbol. I think a ton of characters should be looking at playing the White House while it still exists in the format. Up next, we're playing double Scarlet Meteor. This would normally be a 1-of, but we are playing Mina, so we get to use the Mina enhance of just add 2 cards from my card pool up to my hand. This is really, really solid, especially whenever we're having to make big block strings. I think one of the big issues with Mina is, especially in this deck, is she wants to just kind of ball out on her turn. It doesn't really have a good defensive plan. But if we can get 2 cards in our hand and keep those 2 cards in our hand and block, and then we can Scarlet Meteor and pick those 2 cards back up. Like imagine blocking with Nutcracker and Meteor style, right? Breaker 2. They throw a 3rd attack after committed everything out, remove this, and then just pick up my 2 mid blocks with Breaker, maybe Breaker again, or maybe not. Maybe we just hold them and kill them on their turn. Very, very value card. Oh, next we're playing 1 Omega Sword and Owl Shield. Just makes blocking hella easy. This guy's, a lot of my profiles, this card's actually unfair. It gives extra damage. Like your missile launchers get even bigger, right? Your Nutcrackers get even bigger. This card is just value all around. There's no reason to not run this card in any of these 3 symbols. Up next, we're playing a little bit of a tech card. We're playing 1 Presidential Barbecue. I think one of the easiest ways that Mina gets beat is whenever she gets overloaded, and so this card beats both Shadow Slicer and it beats Punch and Judy, and I thought those were very, very strong, as well as Enhanced Commit. Your next block is strongest Breaker 1. We're already playing a couple of Breaker blocks, and so being able to Breaker 3, Breaker 4 somebody might be the thing that lets us win the game. Under the off-symboled assets, kind of. We're playing 1 Soul Calibur. It technically has our symbols. It's got the response that we're allowed to use. It just kind of replaces itself. More importantly, it's got response commit after weapon attack is played, seal it. Incredibly strong in today's in the current meta, just because like 1/5 of the attacks in the game are weapons, and so just you've got a lot of control over things. We're playing 1 Fiddlesticks. It does have the all symbol, but not the good symbol, so we're getting into the non-symboled cards. Just says after I smack them with a thing that they didn't block because I'm playing Mina, I put it on top of my deck and draw it back up. I get to play it again next turn. We're playing 1 Coludus. There are plenty of foundation hates for this this deck. The main one being something like Overly Dramatic that just cancels the once per turn enhance, and so if I smack you at all, I'll flip that thing. Living Pendulum is another issue, and these are both like commit or flip abilities, and so I just want to make sure that I can get those off the board in order to make my game plan work. Like I said, without the enhance once per turn, like what's the point of even playing the character? Next, we're playing 1 Mason AS. Every single card in my discard pile is super worth copying. I could say the weakest card in my deck when it comes to attack-wise is the Keiko Slap, but even just saying my next attack has -2 difficulty is worth it. If it hits, my opponent's next reversal is way better. Or let's say that I block reversal and then Mason AS on their turn. Are you going to give me the Keiko Slap? Oh, that's totally fine. I will totally say that your next attack has +6 difficulty. This can end turns, as well as feed things back into my deck. So those are the assets. We got through the attacks. Onto the foundations. I kind of laid these out into the jobs that they do, what they do for the deck, as opposed to like just listing off numbers of cards. And so the first thing that I want to talk about is consistency. Mina is a 5-hander, and she has actually no real ability to draw or add cards to her hand. The add the card back to your hand doesn't actually get you anywhere, just because it doesn't deal any damage. So it doesn't really count as attack because it aborts the attack. So we're playing double Passing the Torch, just as a commit draw. That's an insane ability. We're playing 4 Bonsai Enthusiast. This card is also just as good as Passing the Torch, except for it can be even better on defense because of the response after a keyword is played. It gets plus to the keyword ratings. And so, like I said, Breaker 3, Breaker 4, this could be like Breaker +4 if I've got 4 of them. Or all of those cards have Breaker or Stun or Powerful, and so you can just commit it and then draw an extra card. There were plenty of times when I was going in, I'd have 2 of these down and a Passing the Torch, and I'd play a Nutcracker and draw an additional 4 cards on an attack turn and like be totally content. We're playing 3 Never a Day Without Training. It says discard a card, draw a card, or just draw a card depending on if we've got an asset. The reason the discard a card, draw a card matters is because we are playing those off-symboled assets, and I got to get those out of my hand as quickly as I can to make sure that I've got blocks. So it is totally fine to have an asset out and flip and discard, as long as the flip discard is relevant. And then my last draw power is the Toon Empress of Nether Realms. Excuse me. This card says that I just pay 3 of my 31 Vitality, draw a card. The look at my opponent's top card of the deck is not necessarily relevant inside of this game, but or this match, but the knowledge is power, so use it appropriately. Next, we got the kill cards. We're playing a double one with nature. This card just says get rid of a bad card in my hand. Make sure they're not blocking this thing, or essentially says discard a card from my hand. Become Mina again for the turn. The card that you enhance is definitely not getting blocked, but the ones afterwards probably are. And so this card just says that I get to make sure that you don't block those other cards. Really, that's it for the kill me cards. Our attack base is incredibly expensive because it's efficient at doing its job. It kills people, and so as we're looking at this lineup, the point is I want to kill you as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And so our foundations aren't necessarily doing that, except for one of nature. We're playing 3 Sense of Morals when it comes to consistency building wise, just because it doesn't count as progressive. I can add it in with Nutcracker and not obstruct my turn, as well as it is anti-stun hate. Very solid card. I really suggest a 3 of, as well as a 3 of Burning with Revenge. Once again, it's a little stun deterrent, and then it builds in with Nutcracker to draw you the card, and then you build it face down in order to draw the to give 2 extra damage. And so you drew a card off of adding it in with Nutcracker, and then you build it down, and you can actually draw a card off of White House in order to keep pushing and keep going. Like I said, we want to draw these power cards, these power attacks, and so building in as much as we can so that we can play out these big long strings is important, which is why we're playing a 4 Folktale Storyteller. This card just says it's a good way to eat up Breaker, as well as it's a good way to trigger the White House. As well as it says enhance commit, take a card from your discard pile and shuffle it back in your deck. We are playing a ton of draw power, so whenever we get later into the game and I've got like 6 or 7 cards and I got a thing that says draw 3, well I'll stack up 2 attacks back in my deck, draw 3. Hey, I drew at least one of those, right? And so depending on what we need, we can use Folktale Storyteller very well in this deck. On the defense, we're playing double Kieran Soul because throws are real nasty, and this character can get away with it. It's pretty good to take and flip this and then use Meteor to destroy and then build it back in. Just make sure that I'm not taking a bunch of stuff or getting to off block with a Folktale and build it down and taking no damage. Very solid. We're playing double Bakery Poster Girl just to make sure I get to block whatever I want. Like I said, these breaker blocks are very good, but irrelevant if everything is too fast. So making sure I've got access to good speed hate. We're playing triple Keiko's Aid. It's even better than Breaker, but it says that so the Breaker can be eaten up by a foundation, like what we're doing with Folktale. Keiko's says that it doesn't matter if it is a foundation. Your next attack has +2 difficulty. So I can +2 difficulty on the foundation because of the Breaker, and then +2 difficulty on the attack. So they're still going to have to commit out the 4 that do the math for the 4. Defensive vibes, we're playing double Pursuing a Vendetta. We don't want our stuff gotten rid of. One of the easiest ways to beat a 5-hander is to get rid of their staging area. I want to make sure that I have that as much as I can. I want to make sure that I get to keep playing my game as much as I want. These foundations are the thing that keep me alive, and you getting rid of select ones means that I'm probably going to die. So keeping Pursuing is important. We're playing 1 Marrying Age. This is this is readying deterrent. After they ready one, I ready one. And so with my character saying an inherent stun 3, it's just important for me to make sure I can keep up and stay as active as possible, especially because the cards that I'm readying are probably going to be drawing me more cards, and the drawing more cards means that I get to play more attacks, and if I play more attacks, I get to kill you. And so super relevant. Probably have a second one on the sideboard. And then enhanced commit for +2 speed is super relevant whenever it comes to making sure an attack hits. Play 1 Protecting the Protector. We're not a huge momentum out. We do. All of our attacks say EX, powerful, whatever. But make sure we keep at least 1 momentum in order to make sure that Seong doesn't get sealed or turned off or whatever is very important. I think this card is hyper relevant, especially once again it says just to discard a momentum after one of my foundations will be destroyed. Cancel it. Play 1 Overly Dramatic. It got cut. I don't feel good about cutting it down to a 1 of. It might have saved me a couple more times inside of games, but I was okay with it, especially because I get a chance to cheat it back in with Seong style if necessary. And then my last card, we're playing Triple Wishing Ward. I didn't find it in any resource. It kind of mills my own top card of my deck, and that's like the main thing that it does, as well as a little anti-discard, as well as momentum control. As a 5-hander, I don't get to block things very much, and so it is easy for my opponent to stack up momentum on me. And so making sure that I don't have all those extra bullets might be the thing that clutches out the game. All right, and that was it. Thank you very much for watching the profile for Seong. If you like that, make sure you check out the matches that they play. There'll be a playlist here on the channel called Symbol Showdown, where you get to see the deck, as well as all the other decks will be in their own playlist with Symbol Showdown profiles. We got the matches. And if you want to talk to me about this deck, go out to patreon.com/TCG University. Sub out there at the $1 level. Get access to the Discord that I'm in. And yeah, let's chat all day. I think Mina was the main character I was interested in whenever the Libra Souls dropped. I think this character is very, very cool. And so the more tech and ideas that get shared when it comes to Mina play, the better. So from all of us here at, last thing, if you want to watch live the campus championships, go to twitch.tv/TCG University at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, and we stream it all out there for you. Get involved in the chat, hang out, vote on the cool matchups, and so on and so forth. So from all of us here at TCGU, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.